heavy rain, flooding, landslides taking place around California, including in Northern California. Obviously following this very, very closely here on Live and Now from Fox. We want to continue our coverage. We're going to be joined out of the Bay Area right now. As you can see, cleanup crews on the scene there behind Christian Cafton from KTVU. Thank you so much for joining us. What are we seeing today, and how is the cleanup work underway?
Hey, Andy Mac, another day, another tree. It feels like we're living in Groundhog Day because it feels in some ways like the same story, just a different tree. We're actually on 3rd Street and 22nd Street in San Francisco. This is one of the major arteries north-south in the city. If you take a look, you can see that the northbound lanes all closed right now. That is because crews here are just wrapping up a lot of work on a tree that fell down earlier today. You can see that the heavy machinery is out here. We've watched as they have loaded one log after another into equipment to drag it out of the area. They're hoping that they can get this opened a little bit later on. We have some video to show you what it looked like when we first arrived on scene. And we got here shortly before 3 this afternoon and watched as crews started the hard work of taking apart an acacia tree which had come down, and taking that tree apart really branch by branch. Now, the tree had come down on 2 different vehicles, so that made using the chainsaw very tricky work, since of course they didn't want to damage the vehicles underneath. Unfortunately, we haven't heard about any injuries associated with this tree coming down, but it is having a significant impact on traffic in the area. Northbound traffic on 3rd, of course, ground to a halt with a tree in the road. Muni de-energized the T3rd line. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but we have a light rail system here in San Francisco, and that light rail system, of course, requires electricity, so they had to de-energize that system so that crews could work here safely. Now, we are hearing that it could be back up and running. The crews are hoping to have 3rd opened in about a half an hour from now. That would be to the street traffic, and then as well for the T3rd line, the light rail vehicle. If we come back to our live picture, you can see that right now what we're looking at is kind of the mop-up work, that they're dropping down the remnants of that big acacia tree, trying to clear it here so that commuters, people who need to travel through the area, can do that. Now, we did tell you yesterday that DPW, the Department of Public Works here in San Francisco, is telling us that for big trees like this one, which come down and impact traffic or endanger life or limb or property, those of course take priority. The city is filled with tree branches that are down, and they're saying that if it doesn't pose an immediate risk, or if it doesn't block a major road or something like that, or a sidewalk, it could be 2 to 4 weeks before people can expect to see those trees removed. Of course, they say if you see a tree down in San Francisco and it's come down on a muni line, like a power line or an electrical line, or if it is endangering somebody's home or property, they say call 911. Of course, that kind of situation is going to take priority. That's an emergency situation, Andy.
Thank you so much, and you described it so perfectly yesterday with these trees, with the drought, and then the heavy rain, and then the flooding, and then now the wind knocking over a lot of these trees. And like you just said there, power outages probably a concern. I know you might not know specific numbers, but how much are people in Northern California dealing with power outages due to some trees coming down?
Yeah, so we're dealing with spotty power outages all over the Bay Area, really, right? And because as these trees come down, they can bring down a power line, and so you'll have a power outage just in that one localized area. Or if it's a big tree, it can come down and it can cause a major power outage. So we're kind of dealing with the proverbial mixed bag, because we're getting some of the smaller neighborhood-style power outages, and then we're getting some areas that you'll see maybe 1,000 or 5,000 customers without power. That's the situation, right? Because we are still dealing with the rain and these trees, as I described before. The root systems have been weakened, so they're coming down. Today, we didn't have what I'd call a major storm. It certainly felt like we were seeing a lot of rain, but it wasn't like yesterday where we saw thunder and lightning and those heavy, heavy winds. The issue is that we've just had day after day after day after day of rain, so those root systems get weakened, and it doesn't take very much for those trees to come down. And in this case, it didn't hit power lines. In this case, it hit a car and a van, as you saw earlier, but it could just as easily have come out maybe 10 feet further out of the intersection and dragged down a muni line, which would have caused a major hassle and would have required a major repair here for our city's muni system.
And I do have one more question before we let you go here, Christian, because obviously, like you said, you're going to be dealing with these storms for the next week or so. Is there kind of a hurry from the Works Department to make sure this gets cleaned up quickly before maybe the next round hits?
If you could repeat that, it sounds like you're asking if there's a little window in the storm where they can get some of this work done.
Correct. Yeah. Are the Works Department kind of hurrying to make sure this gets done quickly?
Yeah, so they work rain or shine, but they do say that when they get those little windows in the storms, it allows them to try to catch up to some of the work that they have to do. But really, it's a triage situation. They're just going from one to the next to the next. This tree, for example, came down and it wasn't raining very hard at the time. Right now, we don't have a lot of rain, so they're going to wrap up work here, but then of course they're going to go to the next call because there are more trees that are down. So yes, it gives them an opportunity to do some work, but really the work goes on whether it's raining or not.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your continued coverage. We greatly appreciate you joining us here on Live Now from Fox to give us an inside look there in the Bay Area. We appreciate it, Christian, Captain.
You got it, Andy Mack. It's my pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much as we continue on here on Live Now from Fox, covering those major storms that are taking place. Of course, we appreciate all of our coverage from around the area in California. Of course, this is a look at the Bay Area right now, and you can see still lit up. They're dealing with some power outages, not widespread there in Northern California, but they're also dealing with widespread storms that are going to take place over the next week or so. That's what the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, said yesterday. So they may be not under the weather right now, but certainly bracing for more storms coming up. As you can see, still some weather in the area, in that Northern California area, Modesto, in Sacramento, as well as San Jose and other different places there in Northern California. Of course, that is their XRAD computer weather monitor. I also want to put up our graphics here. So we saw a tweet from the National Weather Service there out of the Bay Area. As you can just see the amount of rain, total precipitation, this from earlier today, the series of atmospheric rivers. You'll hear that term quite a bit in California, that affected California since December 26, a period of 16 days. In this time, California averaged 8.61 inches of precipitation, and the San Francisco-Oakland metro statistical area averaged over a foot of rain. So that is just a wild number there as we're watching this here on Live Now from Fox. And like you heard, they were getting some work done, the Public Works Department getting work done, cleaning up some of those trees, bracing for the next round of storms that are potentially coming through the Bay Area over the next day or week.